Are you a member of a church that's looking for a unique fundraising idea to complete a current project? Would you like to learn about an idea that can bring in tens of thousands of dollars quickly? As opposed to simply asking donors to dig deeper into their pockets, in the next few minutes you're going to learn about a planning technique that provides tax and increased income benefits to the donor. There are 3 steps to implement your project. First, select an insurance agent. This idea involves annuities, which can only be placed by a licensed insurance agent. I would suggest selecting an agent from outside the church. Look for the CLU, CHFC, or CFP professional designations. Second, communicate the plan to your membership. Prospects are senior members of your church, age 70 or older. The older the donor is, the greater their benefit. Here's an outline of how this planning technique works. A person donates cash or a highly appreciated asset. If an asset is donated, your church sells the property. The church pays no tax on the sale since the church is tax exempt. The donation is in exchange for an agreement to pay the donor a fixed percentage of the amount contributed for the rest of their life. A high percentage of the payouts are not taxed to the donor. The older the person, the higher the payout and the amount not subject to tax. The donor also receives an income tax deduction, which can be spread out over 6 years if necessary. Here's an example of the income tax deduction at various ages based on a $50,000 gift. The combination of the tax exclusion and the tax deduction increases the effective yield. Here's an example of the increase in effective yield compared to a CD paying 4%. Third, to fund the agreement, your church uses a portion of the donation to buy a single premium immediate annuity on the life of each donor for the amount of its payout obligation. A 1-page agreement, which complies with the laws of your state, outlines each party's obligations. Your church keeps the difference and can immediately fund a ministry or add it to the endowment fund. And then each month your church receives checks from the insurance company for all the donors and then issues a check to each donor for their payout amount. The process is very simple. The net result is that the donor receives a guaranteed life income, an income tax deduction, and an increased yield. And your church receives immediate cash. Here's how the numbers could work out. Let's assume that there's 500 members in your church, and this idea applies to just 2% or 10 people. Further, assume that the average donation is $25,000. This would bring in $250,000. The cost of the immediate annuities will vary by age, but let's say this cost is $150,000. That puts $100,000 immediately into your church's pocket. This is Bob Cavanaugh with a Smart Giver, and that's one idea how your church can raise a 6-figure number in 90 days.